set goals and plans to get there. Look at it every week, decide who's in charge, and cross this gap. Because where you are right now, where you want to be, there's possibly thousands of lives in between that could be saved if you and I get the job done. There's a saying that you can only coach to the gap, so that everybody that you lead must have a gap. And a gap is really simple. This is where we are currently, and this is where we'd like to be. That's the gap. And in between there, what you can see is there is a space that is the gap that you can only lead to. So what does that mean, that you can only lead to the gap? Well, first of all, a lot of your leading specialists in the field of the economy, of work, of business, of finance, when they talk about this gap, what this creates is a certain amount of tension, or what we would even call creative tension. Because if I'm committed to the fact that I must cross the gap over the next 30, 60, 90 days, then it creates tension. In fact, if you think of the fact of the matter that, like, I'm holding a rubber band here, there's a tension that where I am right now is trying to pull where I want to be back towards where I am. And that's not what we want. This is the vision God has given us for the future. And so I need to make sure that this is the fixed point, pulling where I am to it. And so there's that scripture that says, without a prophetic vision, the people perish. And the term perish is they lose discipline, they cast off constraint. And so having a clear gap creates constraint, discipline, focus, because this is the vision where I want to be. There's what we call the brutal reality. So where we are right now, there's a brutal reality of what's keeping us there. Because where you are is, you've always wished it was better, but there's this brutal reality. Why is it? Well, there's all these things I don't like to do. There's areas that I'm not all that disciplined in, areas I'm not organized in, or I don't have the proper leadership or personnel to help me. There's a bunch of reasons I'm there. And if I don't address those reasons, then as I create my gap plan, I'm not addressing what's keeping me where I am, so that the plan has any chance of succeeding. I call these fantasy plans, because we just say, yeah, well, to go to 100 new patients, I just have to do a screening every 2 days, and I would have to do every month an internal event, and all these things that you would say would get you there. But in the brutal reality, we know we won't do it. There's a bunch of reasons we're not doing it now. I like what Reggie Gold used to say. He'd say, he when people would ask him to coach him early on, he wasn't doing his coaching yet. He'd say, well, what do you think you would need to do in order to grow from 100 to 200? And they'd say, well, I think I would need to do A, B, and C. Go, good, do that and call me when you're at 200. And that was his coaching call, because you already know what you're supposed to do. But there's this brutal reality that keeps you from doing it. So to have a true non-fantasy, realistic gap plan, you have to know, again, the brutal reality. What's keeping me here? So if you say I'll do a screening every week, but you don't have a place to do it, you don't like to do screenings, you don't know how to do screenings, you don't even know where to have them or how to get in to do one, then the screening a week will never happen. And so it's just, again, a fantasy plan. So part of that brutal reality would be, I do want to do screenings, which means I need to learn, I need to overcome my issues and my fears, I need to be willing to go knock on 5 doors a week till I get those screenings set up. There's all these things you'd have to address in your actual realistic gap plan. So that's the first thing I put in. We put a gap analysis in at every department and every location. Secondly, what is the number this week that you're getting to, and how will you get there? And I've shared this with you a lot. Every week, you should have a goal, a set of tactics to get there. So at the end of the week, I'm going to go, did you hit the number? Well, no, I didn't. Okay, did you do the tactics that you said you were going to do? I did. Okay, well, if they didn't work, then what are the new tactics, or how are you refining those old tactics to hit the number next week? But you can't keep not hitting your numbers. So we're looking at this every week. And when you're looking at something every week and you're addressing the tactics, the method every week, you would be shocked to see how much better everyone will do. And so just that alone, just having a gap analysis, a goal for every week, a specific strategy to hit those goals, clear responsibilities. Who owns this? No excuses. Lives are at stake. And so I just want to encourage everybody just to play all out, build that game to the next level, set goals. and plans to get there, look at it every week, decide who's in charge, and cross this gap. Because where you are right now, where you want to be, there's possibly thousands of lives in between that could be saved if you and I get the job done. Bless you guys. Love you. And remember who you are.